The giant squid moves through water so dark that its own eye can be larger than a human head. Its longest body can reach almost 13 meters, yet for most of human history, nobody had seen one alive in its natural world. The animal was real. The proof was simply arriving from the wrong side of death. The giant squid is called Architeuthis ducks. It has 8 arms, then 2 longer feeding tentacles. Those tentacles can reach far beyond the rest of the body, trailing behind it like cables in black water. At their ends are clubs. Each club is lined with powerful suckers. The suckers do not end in soft cups. They contain hard, toothed rings. When the squid catches something, it does not merely hold it, it locks on. Its body is long and tapered. The mantle holds the organs, the gills, and the jet system that drives it through the water. 2 fins sit at the rear. They are not built for high-speed pursuit. They are built for control. Slow adjustments, quiet turns, a body moving through darkness without wasting much energy. Then there are the eyes. They are among the largest eyes known in the animal kingdom. A giant squid's eye can approach 27 centimeters across. That is not vanity, it is survival. At depth, a large eye collects what little light remains. Not sunlight, not a clear view of prey, only faint movement, a shape, a shadow, perhaps the glow of a living animal, or perhaps the silhouette of something much larger moving above. The giant squid looks enormous because it is enormous, but its scale is not the strangest thing about it. The unsettling part is that it evolved eyes large enough to look upward through black water, as though it expects something to be looking down. Giant squid are found in deep waters across much of the world. They are usually associated with continental slopes, submarine canyons, and steep offshore waters. Many records place them hundreds of meters below the surface. Some encounters have happened around 900 meters down. At that depth, the pressure is roughly 90 times greater than at sea level. The water is cold, the daylight is gone. The surface world has become a distant ceiling of blue-black shadow. Below it, the ocean is not empty. Lanternfish pass in scattered schools, each carrying small organs of light. Hark and other deep-water fish drift through the dark. Jellyfish pulse slowly, almost invisible until they flash. Sperm whales descend into this same zone. They can dive for more than an hour. They hunt by sound. They send clicks through the water and listen for what returns. The giant squid lives in a place where one of its main predators can find it without seeing it. That may explain some of the scars found on sperm whales. Circular marks appear on their skin, large, pale impressions, the remains of a struggle with sucker-lined tentacles. The whale survives. Often the squid does not. Giant squid beaks have been found in sperm whale stomachs, so the ocean holds evidence of battles that humans almost never witness. A squid with eyes the size of dinner plates. A whale using sound like a searchlight, both moving through pressure and darkness far below any ship. The giant squid is not the largest thing there. It may be one of the hunted, and when it looks upward, it may not be searching for food. It may be watching for the shape of a whale. The giant squid does not drift helplessly. It can move by jet propulsion. Water is drawn into the mantle, then forced through a funnel beneath the head. The body shoots in the opposite direction. For a short burst, it can escape with alarming speed. But speed is expensive. The deep sea does not forgive waste. So much of the giant squid's life is likely controlled movement, a slow approach, a quiet turn, then sudden action. Its long feeding tentacles are the first strike. They can shoot forward and seize prey at a distance. The clubs close around fish or other squid. The arms pull the prey inward. Then it reaches the beak. The beak is dark, hard, and sharply curved. It sits at the center of the arms. Nothing about the giant squid's mouth looks large from the outside. That is because the real weapon is hidden inside the crown of limbs. The beak cuts. A rough tongue-like structure called the radula helps process the food. The giant squid is not a tentacled version of a shark. It is built differently. It does not need rows of visible teeth. It needs reach. It needs grip. It needs one hard point capable of breaking apart something slippery and alive. The tentacles are longer than they appear in old photographs. They are often damaged. They can tear away. They shrink after death. Bodies recovered from the sea are not always complete. This is one reason the giant squid grew so large in legend. A partial body reaches shore. A tentacle is missing. Another has stretched. The measurements become uncertain. The story becomes larger. But the truth does not need exaggeration. A real animal almost 13 meters long is enough, and most of that length can be hidden in 2 thin moving lines. For centuries, giant squid belonged to the border between evidence and folklore. Sailors found arms, beaks, pieces of mantle, occasionally whole bodies washed ashore. They described immense tentacles. They described animals that could pull at boats. Most stories became larger with each retelling. The kraken emerged from this same dark territory, a creature big enough to drag ships below the waves. The real giant squid does not attack ships. There is no evidence that it hunts humans. There is no evidence that it wraps sailing vessels in its arms. But the myth was built around a real problem. The animal almost never appeared where humans could understand it. It came ashore already dead. It surfaced injured. It was caught in fishing gear from depths that fishermen could not see. For a long time, scientists had specimens but no behavior. They could examine the beak, they could measure the tentacles, they could study the eye, but they could not answer the obvious question: how does an animal this large move through total darkness without being seen? In 2004, Japanese researchers changed that. Near the Ogasawara Islands, they lowered a baited camera system to around 900 meters. A giant squid attacked the lure. The camera captured the first images of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. The squid fought the line for hours. When it finally broke free, part of a feeding tentacle remained behind. DNA confirmed what the camera had seen. The animal was not a story. It was not a dying body on a deck. It was active, it was hunting, and it had reached out from darkness to take something it believed was prey. The first footage of a live giant squid in its natural habitat came later. In 2012, a Japanese research team and filmmakers followed sperm whales south of Japan. They used a specially designed camera system. They avoided bright white lights. Instead, they used a low-light approach and a lure designed to resemble a glowing jellyfish. At around 630 meters, the giant squid appeared. It was silver, not red, not purple. Silver, under natural blue light. Its body reflected the darkness around it. The footage showed an animal moving with a calm that made it more unsettling. No thrashing, no wild attack, just a large squid moving through open water, its arms and tentacles extending behind it. For years, films had imagined giant squid as violent monsters. The real animal was quieter. It did not need to perform. Its scale did the work. The cameras followed it for several minutes. Then it descended, not into a cave, not into some secret trench, simply down, into water too dark for the cameras to continue. That is the moment that matters. The giant squid was not found at the end of the world. It was found in a part of the ocean that exists beneath ordinary shipping routes, beneath weather systems, beneath the paths of whales and fishing boats. It had been there the entire time. We just had not looked correctly. In 2019, NOAA-funded researchers filmed another giant squid in the Gulf of Mexico. This one approached an electronic lure at 759 meters. The lure was designed to mimic the light pattern of a jellyfish. For a moment, the squid came close. Then it stopped. It did not take the bait. It disappeared back into the dark. That brief encounter revealed something important. The giant squid may be more cautious than its legend suggests. It is not simply attracted to any light. It assesses, it approaches, it decides, then it leaves. We still know remarkably little about its normal life. No one has watched a giant squid mate. No one has seen its eggs develop in the open ocean. No one knows how often an adult feeds. We do not know how far individuals travel. We do not know how often they encounter sperm whales. We do not know how many giant squid are alive beneath the ocean at this moment. The animal is large, but the habitat is larger. A single giant squid can live in water that is almost impossible to search. The ocean does not need to hide it behind a locked door. It only needs depth. It only needs darkness. It only needs a few hundred meters of water between the animal and the nearest human eye. The giant squid is real, but it is not bigger than reality. It is bigger than the way we usually picture reality. We expect large animals to be visible. Whales surface. Sharks cross clear water. Elephants leave tracks. The giant squid does none of these things. It lives in volume. It moves where a camera beam becomes useless after a few meters. It leaves scars on whales. It leaves beaks in stomachs. It leaves fragments in nets. Then it vanishes. The creature that inspired sea monster stories is not waiting beneath a ship. It is already lower than the ship's sound can reach clearly. It is watching shadows move overhead with eyes built for a world without sunrise. And somewhere in that same darkness, there may be another squid larger than any specimen we have measured. Not because the ocean is inventing monsters, because the ocean is still too large for us to know when one has passed beside us. Stay with Ocean Nightmares. The next creature may be even less willing to be seen.